Like I said, I went everywhere looking for help, and until you came along, there was nobody. But
yeah.
You came right when we needed it the most.
If my wife told me she was going to divorce me, it wouldn't matter. If my kids said they hated me and wanted to disown me, it wouldn't have mattered. Because when you're in that active addiction, it's just, there's nothing else that matters. And I think people in society don't get that. They think that it's more of a choice that people are making. Right before high school, I'd say like 8th grade, everybody started experimenting with drinking and marijuana. So that's kind of how I got started.
I do remember when he was 14 years old and I was dropping off at his friend's house. It was the first time he mentioned pressure and marijuana. And that's what when it all started, when he was around 13, 14.
By the time I was graduated from high school, there wasn't a drug I hadn't tried.
And I was in denial a lot, so whatever he would tell me when I would ask questions about when he was acting differently, I'd always accept his answer. And I probably knew inside that it was not the truth. But I wanted to believe the good and not the bad.
That one time taking something, you could feel that feeling and say, I want to feel that for the rest of my life. It's that powerful. And I don't think a lot of people understand that how powerful it is. It's not a drug to experiment with, it's truly not. It was this progression over time, because once I knew I liked it and then the doctor prescribed it, I didn't take it as prescribed. I wasn't taking it one every 6 hours or 12 hours. I was taking multiples every hour and then snorting them. And it kept progressing and kept progressing. So, and then during that time, everybody was being prescribed pills. It was everywhere. So then once that left, you don't have pills anymore. The only other choice, especially in Baltimore, is heroin.
After we had our son, I felt like I kind of noticed some things were like, okay, what's going on? Like, money kind of started like disappearing and just like weird little things. Like, and I'm just like, like I say something, he kind of had like a weird response, and it just like, it was like, what's going on here?
The way I was raised, my morals all went out the window. Like, the only thing that mattered was that drug. It didn't matter anything else. It had something to do with me getting that drug or me allowing to get that drug. I didn't want anything to do with you.
We had already gone through one time of trying to get Todd clean. Todd refused to go away. He didn't want anyone to know that he was using.
How do I tell everybody, these people that I work for, the people that work under me, like I'm in a position where I'm a manager, so at my job as a chef, so like, how do I tell these people underneath me that I'm essentially a junkie?
Up to a year and a half ago, he was really doing bad. And I was kind of to the point where I was actually like ready to leave him.
His wife gave him an ultimatum that, do it or you're not going to see your kids again. Well, anyway, in the meantime, she's telling me that she's been following Brandon.
I've known Todd for a long time. Todd and I grew up together. We went to high school together, we hung out together, and ultimately we partied together. We ran in a lot of the same circles, and it's not ironic or anything special as to why our paths crossed later on down the road.
I was just at the end of my rope. I couldn't do it anymore. The sickness, the money, everything. I had 2 kids that were getting older, so it was time. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, is what we used to say in the AA a lot.
Brandon talked to Todd and told him what he could do to help him, and literally came to Baltimore the next day, and they were on a flight to Florida to get Todd into recovery. And it literally was like, it gives me goosebumps, because he literally did come in and saved our family.
I just thought the whole time, when he comes back, he's probably going to want to at least still smoke pot, or he's going to want to at least do this. He's, drink a beer. He's not going to not do anything. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I've only known him doing something for 20-some years. I couldn't imagine him not doing anything, and he did nothing. He literally did the program. In the time period that he stayed at Banyan, when he got off that airplane, he was a different person. He had lost 30 pounds, and he was just so healthy, and it was a different person.
Sobriety is always #1 in my life. I always put that before everything else. That's what I've been taught. Even before my wife, my kids, it has to be #1 to me. Even through the times we're going through right now with COVID, I mean, my job has been very tough, but it's always stays my #1 thing. It's a shame that meetings aren't happening, because that's a big thing for me. and the fellowship, but my life is great. You know, I'm in the process of buying a new house. My job is going great. It's been better than ever. My kids are doing wonderful. My wife's doing wonderful. My family's doing great. It's just, and it's all because I'm present.
Picking him up in the airport was just like, the look of him, like he actually looked me in the eyes, and that wasn't something that I realized that he didn't do until he was back. Like he hadn't even hardly made eye contact with me, and you know, because he was so ashamed of who he was and what he was doing to our family. But since he's been back, it's like we have a good family life. You know, we spend time together. Like, you know, I feel like I actually have a husband. I have like my friend back. I
wasn't like involved in like the minute details of my kids' lives and my wife's life, and now I am. You know, like my son is one of my best friends. Like, and that's how I want it to be. And I speak freely about my addiction with him because I feel like it's a genetic disease, and he could walk down that road very easily one day. I'm here for him, and there's nothing he hasn't done that I haven't, and there's not a mistake that he's going to make that I haven't.
I'm not afraid to answer the phone anymore or go to sleep at night, because for 24 years I really probably didn't get much sleep.
It's no crazy wonder to understand that as soon as Todd started getting better, his family started getting better. His marriage started getting better. His relationship between his son started getting better.
You have to have it in your mind and your heart that you want to stop. Because I feel like if you're pushed into it, or you're not willing to want to stop, you're not going to. I mean, you could go through a 30-day program, a 90-day program, staying sober living, all that. Once you get out on your own, you have to have made that decision that you're done. Because you're going to be faced with things where you're gonna like think about it, because it happens all the time. You're gonna have dreams about it. You're gonna have those times where you're stressed out and you're gonna wanna, you know, escape. But you have to have that foundation, you know, like you gotta build it. It's not gonna just happen out of nowhere.
What I would say is reach out to Brandon Novak. I mean, he's on Instagram there. He gives out his cell phone number. He will help you. I mean, Banyan Treatment Center is the one place that I know is a success story. They do help. And because I've reached out to other places, I know people that have gone to other places, they've been to rehabs over and over and over again. None of these places have helped. But Banyan Treatment Center was the success story for Brandon as well as Todd. So they are a success story in my book.
Love you. I'm very proud of you. We look forward to our future in our new house. Excited.